Good morning, children. Welcome back to our science class. Now we are in lesson 7. It belongs to chemistry, atoms and molecules. Quick recapitulation. Atomic structure. Atomic structure based on the modern atomic theory. In that modern atomic theory, we studied isotopes, isobars and isotones. So isotopes is the atoms having a same atomic number but different atomic mass. In the case of isobars, different atoms having a same atomic mass. And then we have a one more term, isotones. Next, atomic structure based on the atom and then atomic mass, relative atomic mass. So these atoms combine together and we can get a molecule. So molecule is based on molecular mass and then relative molecular mass. Next, in this atomic structure, we are concluding through the Avogadro's hypothesis to find out the number of moles present in the given molecule. Here we have a topic, percentage composition. The percentage composition of a compound represents the mass of each. Mass of each means when we take a compound, so it is combined together with the element. So we can calculate the individual element. Then only we can know the compound percentage. So whatever the compound we are having, even it may be a 1 kg, 100 kg, whatever it may be. First we need to take a sample of 100 gram. In that 100 gram, how much of element present? So we can conclude that one to the maximum 100 kg, 1 kg like that. Next, calculate the percentage composition of H2O. H2O is nothing but of what? Water. Mass percentage of an element. Mass percentage of an element, how to find out? Here we have a formula. Mass percentage of an element equal to mass of the element in the compound into 100 by molar mass of the compound. So these the two things, that is mass of the element. So first we need to find out the weight of the element, then total molar mass of the compound. With that one we can multiply it into 100, we can get the percentage composition. Now we are going to calculate a mass percentage of H2O water. In that, two hydrogen atoms is there. So first we need to put 2 and then 1. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So 2 into 1. Next we have an oxygen atom. So oxygen is atomic mass is 16. So totally the molar mass equal to 2 plus 16 equal to 18 gram. Next in that we need to find out the mass percentage of hydrogen. First the mass of hydrogen, only 2 atoms, so mass is 1, so 2 into 1, 2. So total weight of these molecule is 18, so 2 divided by 18 into 100. So while cancelling this, we are getting 11.11 percentage of hydrogen. Here the mass percentage of hydrogen is 11.11%. Next, we need to find out a mass percentage of oxygen. So oxygen is mass is 16, the total mass is 18. So 16 divided by 18 into 100, it comes 88.89 percentage. So this is the method to find out a mass percentage of the element, individual element present in the compound. Next, find the mass percentage composition of methane. So methane's molecular formula is CH4. So whatever the compound we need to find out a composition, before that we have to know the molecular formula. Based on the molecular formula only we know how many elements are present. So in that element what is the atomic mass we came to know, then only we can do the mass percentage. Here molar mass of methane CH4. C, the carbon's atomic mass is 12 and then nitrogen we already know atomic mass is 1, so 4 atoms of hydrogen is there, so 12 plus 4. Totally we have a 16 gram of compound present here. In that the first one atom is carbon, so find out the percentage of carbon. So carbon's mass is 12, so 12 by 16 into 100, it comes 75 percentage. Next, mass percentage of hydrogen. So hydrogen's atomic mass is 4. In this molecule 4 atoms are there, so 4 by 16 into 100, so 25% of hydrogen is present in this compound. Now we are in the topic Avogadro's hypothesis. So he is a scientist Avogadro, given a calculations of molecules based on the law. The Avogadro's law states that equal volume of all gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure contain equal number of molecules. So what he says, so equal volume of all gases, so different types of gases we can take it as a equal volume. So what is happening? The no change in temperature, no pressure change means it contains a equal number of molecules. So nothing is changed here, because when the pressure increases, what is happening? The gases are compressed. When the pressure is very loose, it can move here and there. So no need to change pressure and temperature. Even when we increase the decrease temperature also, gas molecules will move. So no change in the temperature as well as the pressure. So the molecules will remain same. So whatever the gas, the different types of gases, no change in the molecules. 1 mole of oxygen contains 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of oxygen, and its gram molecular mass is 32 gram. 1 mole. See, this is 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 is a Avogadro's number. The scientist given this number to find out the molecules of the individual atom. Next, molar volume. 1 mole of any gas occupies 22.4 liter or 22,400 ml at STP. Here STP. S means standard, T temperature, P pressure. So this volume is called as molar volume. So what he says, the molar volume based on the STP, standard temperature and pressure. So the gas occupies 22.4 liter molar volume. So what he said in the previous Avogadro hypothesis, no change in temperature, pressure, all the gases are having a equal number of molecules. So that is a thing for a STP, 22.4 liter of gas can occupy a place. So whatever the gas, that is molar volume. Representing Avogadro's law in mathematically way. So here V, volume is directly proportional to the number of moles of gas. So to remove this proportion, we need to take a one constant. So we can put equal and then constant and n. Constant means it may be any number, any alphabet from A to Z you can take. To remove this proportion, we need to take a constant. Thus 1 liter, that is 1 decimeter cube, that is 1 decimeter cube is nothing but of 1000 ml of hydrogen contains the same number. Is what they said, the Avogadro's hypothesis, the STP condition, no change in the mole of molecules as in 1 liter of oxygen, that is the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the number of moles of the gas. Yes, volume. So how much it is occupying, it is equal to the based on the number of molecules. So the Avogadro's hypothesis we can representing V equal to constant into N. So the whatever the thing we studied previously, that one mathematical derivation. Based on Avogadro's hypothesis, we are going to consider this reaction, hydrogen and chlorine reacting together, giving HCl, that is hydrogen chloride gas. Here, one volume of hydrogen and one volume of chlorine is taking place in this reaction and giving out a product of 2 volumes of HCl. Here, according to Avogadro's law, one volume of any gas is occupied n number of molecules. So, the number of molecules we are denoting a constant n. Instead of this, we are going to apply n molecules for this reaction. N molecules plus n molecules, the product will be 2n molecules. Now we are going to substitute the values n equal to 1. Then the equation becomes 1 molecule plus 1 molecules gives 2 molecules. After that we are substituting half molecules. So half molecule plus half molecules equal to 1 molecule. So n may be any number. Our next topic is applications of Avogadro's law. It explains Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law, based on this Avogadro's law, it is explained Gay-Lussac's law. It is also defining about molar volume of gases. Here, applications, the new word given applications, applications means nothing but of uses of this law, Avogadro's law. It helps in the determination of atomicity of gases. So why we need atomicity? So how many number of atoms take part in the reaction to find out we have a atomicity of the gases. So if for example H2, H2 means 2 hydrogen atoms taking part, so that is the atomicity of hydrogen. Next, molecular formula of gases can be derived using Avogadro's law. For example, in the last page we saw hydrogen chloride gas. So in that, hydrogen as well as chlorine taking part in the reaction to giving out a gas to hydrogen chloride gas. So based on this law, so how many number of element of gases taking part in the reaction? So we know the molecular formula of the gases. It determines the relationship between molecular mass and vapor density. Why molecular mass? Because we are doing everything for gases. So gases have a number of moles, so molecular mass is important, as well as vapor density. Vapor is nothing but of gas density. Then it helps to determine the gram molar volume. So what is gram molar volume? So to express the weight of the given gas, so we need a gram molar volume. Now we are going to discuss about the relationship between vapor density and relative molecular mass. Relative molecular mass, based on the hydrogen scale, the relative molecular mass of a gas or vapor is the ratio between the mass of one molecule of the gas or vapor to mass of one atom of hydrogen. Why we need to compare with hydrogen scale? Because hydrogen is the first one element present in the periodic table. So it is the least atomic mass. So we need to compare all the gases into hydrogen. So one more thing, hydrogen is also a gas. That's why we need to compare other gases into hydrogen. Next, vapor density. Vapor means nothing but of gas, so gas density. Vapor density is the ratio of the mass of a certain volume of gas or vapor to the mass of an equal volume of hydrogen measured under the same condition of temperature and pressure. Yes, same condition. That is, we need to remember STP, standard temperature and pressure. So here also the vapor density is going to compare hydrogen under the condition of temperature and pressure are same. So we can find out the equal volume of gas compared to the hydrogen gas. Here we have a derivation of the relationship between vapor density and relative molecular mass. So vapor density is equal to mass of given volume of a gas or vapor at STPS. Whatever the gas is given, that gas we need to take at STP, that is standard temperature and pressure, and then its value is divided by mass of the same volume of hydrogen. Yes, so all those things we are comparing to the hydrogen. Here we are using hydrogen scale. According to Avogadro's law, equal volume of all gases contain equal number of molecules. Yes, this is Avogadro's law. Thus, we can put the number of molecules equal to n. So, n number of molecules we are taking. So, for the above equation be like that. Vd is nothing but of the short form of vapor density at STP. STP, again and again I am telling, standard temperature and pressure. So, mass of n molecule of gas or vapor at STP. So, mass of n molecules of hydrogen. So, the above equation we are taking the unknown gas. Now, we are taking the number n. In the both the equation, we need to cancel n. So, the equation become like this. The vapor density is equal to mass of one molecule of gas vapor at STP. Yes, when we cancel n, the one only remaining. So, the equation become like this. Then, mass of one molecules of hydrogen. In the previous equation, the vapor density becomes mass of one molecule of gas or vapor at STP divided by mass of one molecules of hydrogen. There they given a molecule. Here we are representing atoms. So in the molecule of hydrogen atom, we have a two hydrogen atoms. That's why mass of two atoms of hydrogen. Nothing but of molecule is equal to 2 atoms of hydrogen. No change here. Only the molecule has been converted here to atom. When you compare the formula of vapor density with relative molecular mass, they can be represented as, here vapor density is equal to mass of one molecule of gas or vapor at STP divided by 2. We are separating the 2 from the above equation. So 2 into mass of one atom of hydrogen. So after that the equation become like this: vapor density equal to relative molecular mass. Yes, mass of one molecule of gas of vapor at STP divided by mass of one atom of hydrogen. These two things is a relative molecular mass. Then we have a number remaining 2. So vapor density is equal to relative molecular mass divided by 2. Now we need to do a cross multiplication of this equals. See, vapor density, these 2 has been multiplied to vapor density. So 2 into vapor density equal to relative molecular mass. Then otherwise we can say it as a relative molecular mass equal to 2 into vapor density. Lesson is over. Now we are going to discuss about book exercise problems. In the first one sum, how many grams are there in the following? So 2 moles of hydrogen molecule, then 3 moles of chlorine molecule, 5 moles of sulfur molecule and 4 moles of phosphorus molecule. One by one we can see. First 2 moles of hydrogen molecule. So the molecular mass of hydrogen H2 is 2 because our molecular mass of hydrogen is 1, so 2 into 1 is obviously 2. Next mass, we need to find a mass. So mass equal to number of moles into molecular mass. So how many number of moles are present? They said 2 moles. So number of moles here is 2 and then the molecular mass is 2. So 2 into 2 equal to 4. So the molecular, so it has been 4 grams of hydrogen present in the 2 moles of hydrogen molecule. And next sum, 3 moles of chlorine molecule. So the molecular mass of chlorine is 35.3. So when we had together we can multiply 2 atoms, so it is 70.9. Then the mass equal to the same formula, number of moles into molecular mass. Here number of moles, 3 number of moles of fluorine, molecular mass is 70.9, so we can multiply together. We are getting the molecular mass of fluorine is 212.7 grams. So the given 3 moles of fluorine weight is 212.7 grams. Next, 5 moles of sulfur molecule. So S8. So the molecular mass of sulfur is equal to 32. Here 8 numbers. So 8 is equal to 256 molecular mass of sulfur. Then the same formula, mass equal to number of moles into molecular mass. So number of moles here they given 5 and then the molecular mass is 256. So 5 into 256 totally 1280 grams. One more sum, 4 molecules of P4 molecule. Here the molecular mass of P4, that is phosphorus, equal to 31 into 4, 124. Then the formula, mass equal to number of moles into molecular mass. Number of moles is 4 and then the total molecular mass is 124. So when we are multiplying together, we are getting 496 gram of P4 molecule. Our next sum is based on the percentage calculation of an individual element present in a compound. Here, calculate the percentage of each element in calcium carbonate they given. In that calcium carbonate, see the molecular formula, Ca calcium, C carbon, O3 that is oxygen. So the masses of these atoms also given here. Carbon's mass is 12, oxygen mass is 16 and calcium's mass is 14. First we need to add the total molar mass of calcium carbonate. So first calcium 40 plus 12 the carbon's mass. Then we have a 3 atoms of oxygen. So 3 into 16, 48. So when we add together we are getting 100. 100 is the molecular mass of calcium carbonate. We have a calculations here. First we need to find out the percentage of carbon in calcium carbonate. For that we have a formula, mass of carbon by molar mass of CaCO3 into 100. So what is the mass of a carbon here? 12. Only one carbon, so the 12 is the mass of the carbon. Molar mass of calcium carbonate, that is the total mass of 100. So 12 by 100 into 100, while we cancel 100, 100. So it becomes a 12 percentage. We can see this in next clip. See the previous clip sum, 12 by 100 into 100, while cancelling 100 and 100, it becomes 12 percentage. So the carbon percentage in calcium carbonate is 12. Next, we need to find out the percentage of oxygen in calcium carbonate. So mass of oxygen, what is the mass of oxygen? So mass of oxygen is 16 into 3, that is atomic mass is 16. It is, here it has a 3 number, so 16 into 3 by total molar mass of calcium carbonate. So we had it already, it's 100. So 100 and then into 100. In the formula we have 100. While cancelling these 100 and this 100, we are getting 48 percentage. 16 into 3, the 48 percentage. In this compound, we have a 48 percentage of oxygen. Next, we are going to calculate the remaining one, calcium. For the percentage of calcium, mass of calcium by molar mass of calcium carbonate into 100. So what is the mass of calcium? 40 divided by 100 into 100. So obviously it is belongs to 40 percentage. This is how we need to find out the percentage composition. Here also we have the same type of sum. Calculate the percentage of oxygen in Al2SO4, that is aluminum sulfate. Atomic mass of aluminum sulfate. So individual elements masses we need to multiply, then we can get the total molar mass. Al2, the aluminum's atomic mass is 27, so it has the 2 numbers, so 27 into 2 plus sulfur 32, and then see in the outside we have a 3, so that 32 into 3. Next oxygen, here 4 into 3, 12, totally 12 number of oxygen we have. So oxygen atomic mass is 16, so 16 into 12, totally we are getting 342 molar mass. Now here they are asking only one element, only we need to find out oxygen's percentage. So oxygen percentage in aluminum sulfate equal to mass of oxygen in compound. What is the mass of oxygen? So 16 into 12. So here we have 192. The total mass is 342 into 100. While we are cancelling it, we can get 56.1 percentage. So this is the percentage of oxygen present in this aluminum sulfate. So the previous sum we studied individual elements percentage. But in this sum they are having only one element percentage. So we have a difference but no change in the formula. So whatever the percentage, first we need to find out the molar mass, then what element they ask, so in that particular element only we can find out a percentage. Here we have a different types of sum. Calculate the number of moles. First they given 27 gram of aluminium. In that second they given molecules 1.51 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of NH4Cl, that is ammonium chloride. The first sum 27 gram of aluminium. The formula is number of moles equal to mass by atomic mass. So what is the mass they given? The weight 27 gram. Then next, the aluminium's mass is 27. So 27 divided by 27, we are having a 1 mole of aluminium. Next, 1.51 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules ammonium chloride. Here also the formula is number of moles equal to, here see we are given molecules. So number of molecules by Avogadro's number. If 10 to the power 23 comes means nothing but of Avogadro's number. So the given molecule is 1.51 into 10 to the power 23 by the Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 to the power 23. So when we cancelling this, the 10 to the power 23, 10 to the power 23 will be cancelled. Then remaining 1.51 divided by 6.023, it comes 0.25 moles. So here we have a two types. One, they are giving a weight and asking a mole. And then one more thing, the molecules they are giving asking a moles. So when the molecules given means we can use the Avogadro number. When the atoms give means we can use the atomic mass. So this is the difference. So both are same only. Atom gives means we need to use atomic mass. When the molecules given means we can use the Avogadro's number. Assignment for this class. Derive the relationship between vapor density and relative molecular mass. The derivation, which one we studied in this video. Next, define atomic mass. Third one, what is molar volume of gas? Find the percentage of nitrogen in ammonia. So you can find out the ammonia's molecular formula. Then know the atomic mass to find out the ammonia's percentage in compound. Here you have your Google Classroom code MX25F4D. Kindly log in only for 10A3, that is 10C students. Your lesson is over. Try to study all the questions, not only the book back exercise. Whatever I taught you, that also you can study. You can log in your Google Classroom as early as possible. Then only I can conduct a test. Even you to assess yourself. Don't sit simply. The time is very precious. So do the lessons day by day. Whenever you can receive the videos, that day itself you can study. Then only it is easier for you. Children, don't waste your time. At the same time, you can eat healthy food. Be careful. Stay safe. Boost your immunity. Often wash your hands. So these are the important things. And then studies also. Now you are in 10th standard. Don't be like a small children. Don't waste your time. This is my kind advice. Use this time for studies. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.